Hey guys, the Inertia Drive is finally ready. And here is an example. I've got the auto level and I've got an altitude lock on, so I can kind of wiggle a little bit, but it still brings me back. So these quick passes over the mountain, you can see I'm holding pretty much the same height, even if I try to, I can scrape into things if I jiggle it around a little bit, but it's going to keep returning back to that same height. I'll turn that off, and I'll even turn off the auto pitch and roll here. There, now I can fly around a little more freely. So as you can see, you can actually activate the GUI from your seat. You've got a little help menu here that has some descriptions of things, and you've got 6 different modes. So you can use buttons in the button menu to select your modes that you want. And this lets you have different flight profiles. You can set up one the way you want, and then you can like copy and paste them to other columns. That way you can kind of get a baseline going and then adjust it from there. You've got your 6-axis for power and for your resistance to motion settings for the auto level and the altitude and location locks, and the pitch and roll. You can do these from buttons as well. The anti-grav you can switch on and off from buttons as well. These are just extra options in case you don't want to have to use up a switch for those. Oh, and I should show you with the changing the values here. It opens up a menu just to type into. So an important thing is the, show you here from these menus. When you go to these advanced buttons, you can select your functions. A very important thing is this emergency lift. You want to use this in case you decide to set some really out there values. Like, let's say we want to go really, really fast, and all of a sudden we have well left the scrap mechanic universe. We're just out in the void somewhere because we put in way too big a number. I decided not to cap what you can type in. It's if you want to play around with crazy numbers, you can, and things are just really bad. But no worries, because the emergency lift will take you right back to the center of the world, and it does a raycast to the ground so that you're not going to spawn inside of a mountain or something like that. And now this only works if you have set up one of your buttons on the emergency lift. So just really make sure you do that first if you're going to go playing around with some crazy numbers, because just like that. It's kind of funny to do it now and then, but it gets old after a while. And it's certainly not something you want to have happen if you don't have the button set up, because if you get out of your seat, you're probably just going to fall off and you'll never be able to get back. You're going to have to start another world. So I'm going to set this back to something sane. Let's say 600. So I've got this dialed in to be fairly plane-like. But you can have it a lot driftier if you want. So for example, if I turn these down, well, actually I could, if you turn these off completely without any of the damping on, it's just going to be very drifty. The pitch, roll, and yaw are going to be terrible. So see, I'm just going to be tumbling all over. It's going to be very hard to fly this because I'm constantly fighting to keep my orientation. So this is totally just anti-grav with no particular control. It's impossible to fly it this way. So I'll just copy and paste one of those to make life a little easier. And there we go. Now it's got resistance to motion back on, and it's a lot easier to fly around. And I think that pretty much covers the basics of the Inertia Drive. You'll have to just kind of poke around, and I think you'll be able to figure things out. Once you connect the advanced buttons up to the drive, you'll be able to see this menu with all your different options in here. And as well, when you open up the menu, you can just play around with these things and see what you come up with. I'll still be adding a couple of new features to it. If anyone's got any suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments.